Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Compromising Catholic identity, the pressure on Canada's Catholic schools to accept homosexual faculty members is increasing thanks to government policymakers in Ontario. LifeSite News reports the Toronto chapter of the Ontario English Catholic Teachers Association, or OECTA, passed 2 resolutions this week that contradict Catholic moral teaching on homosexuality. One of the resolutions would require Catholic schools to give up their constitutional right in the country to refuse to hire teachers in active homosexual relationships, a move the activist group Campaign Life Catholics says may be in violation of a 1984 court case ruling that Catholic schools have the right to maintain their Catholic identity. A representative of the group is calling upon all Catholic teachers and parents in Canada to stand up for the, quote, constitutionally mandated and protected mission of Catholic schools, and to fight the union's attack on Catholic education. Michigan student in court. A Catholic high school student in Michigan is taking his public school to court after he was punished for expressing his opposition to the homosexual lifestyle. OneNewsNow.com says the young man was asked specifically by his economics teacher, a homosexual activist himself, what his stance on homosexuality was, and was immediately sent to the principal's office and suspended after the student told his teacher that he was Catholic and that the homosexual lifestyle was offensive to him. The Thomas More Center lawyer who has taken the case explains, quote, a firestorm of protest and vilification of Daniel appeared in the homosexual internet community, and it ultimately ended in the mother being so upset that she contacted the Thomas More Law Center, end quote. The center is suing the teacher, Johnson McDowell, and Howell High School, asking for an injunction that will forbid any further enforcement of the school policies that support the homosexual agenda. Teen sex teachers. It looks like being 14 and a community organizer in Wisconsin makes you eligible automatically to be a sex ed teacher for your classmates. Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin is advertising 7 available paid positions for teens between the ages of 14 to 24. Requirements include completion of the 8th grade and the, quote, ability to relate to and influence peers, end quote, as well as leadership and public speaking skills. Duties include one-on-one sexual and, quote, reproductive health education with other young teens, as well as answering questions on the youth and text hotlines. By hiring minors for this position, Planned Parenthood is encouraging children to break Wisconsin law, since sexual activity, even if consensual, is illegal before age 16. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Gingrich update. Republican presidential candidate Newt Gingrich took a stand against the, quote, increasingly arrogant judiciary during an interview on CBS. Gingrich claimed to be willing to subpoena activist judges if lawmakers needed a ruling on an extremely controversial decision. In spite of Newt's energetic attack on the political status quo, Ron Paul is currently ahead of him in the Iowa caucus race by a score of 23% of voters to Gingrich's 14%, according to public policy polling and the New York Times. Mitt Romney, another Republican candidate, is not too concerned about Gingrich as an opponent, choosing instead to focus on his defense against incumbent President Obama. Obama's fear factor. Fear of big business is on the decline in our country, while fear of big government has been rising steadily since Barack Obama became president in 2008, so say the latest Gallup polls. Cybernet News Service reports 53% of Americans thought that big business was the biggest threat to the U.S. in the future when Obama took office in 2008. But now, going into the election of 2012, that number, 53%, has grown to a whopping 64%. Meanwhile, Obama praises himself on the campaign trail for Obamacare and the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in the military, saying, quote, "I am confident that the vision that we believe in so deeply and that we've worked so hard for is the vision that is truest to our history and most representative of the core decency of the American people," end quote. According to his speech at a campaign fundraiser in Washington, D.C., it's not a slam dunk, and, quote, "there is going to be some pushback." After his dictatorial stances, trying to force contraception and abortion on Catholics in America, he may be right. And finally, get real this Christmas and all year long. Just another reminder, with only a few more shopping days to Christmas, if you'd like to give the gift of a RealCatholicTV.com premium membership to a bishop, priest, seminarian, sister, or religious community, just click on the link just outside the screen to find out more about our half-price program. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about what happened to the angels. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.